Yo, what's good, Joe? Welcome back to another episode from Infinite Takes. This is another Tuesday upload on a Monday Night Raw review. I don't know why that was like so hard for me to say. I kept saying Thursday and then getting the dates wrong. Anyways, let's get right into this review. Show starts with Cody basically entering the arena via tour bus. Just him coming out, shakes a random guy's hand, and you know makes his way into the arena. But doesn't it start with Cody? It starts with a New Day match, which was I thought it was gonna start with like a Cody promo. I was kind of used to these last weeks on Raw and SmackDown, starting with like promos by people. Like I think last week on SmackDown was a Triple H promo, and then on Raw it was a Cody, Seth, Drew promo. Like I was used to promos, and it's like, nah, we're gonna hit you with like a pretty high paced match with New Day and Jey Uso versus Imperium, which was I think I did call it last week, and I didn't think that I don't think they announced this match like after Raw, so saying I called it or anything, but I feel like I did. This match was pretty what you expect from it. I'm kind of tired of like the New Day Imperium thing. I just want like a decisive winner and then move on. Hopefully, after Jey Uso wins or Gunther, whoever wins, this is over. First half of the match was kind of slow. They were still getting it. That's why I don't like when kind of matches start off with like when Raw starts off with a match, cause just nothing is. It always starts so slow, and it's like I'm really not into it. Then I have to wait till like the second half of the match to really get into it. Gunther hits like a top down. Like usually it's like a cross chop, but no, he literally just slaps him down, hits him with a short arm clothesline. For a two, I thought that sequence was pretty nice. Gunther ended up going to the top, hitting a splash, and ends up reversing it, getting knees up, and hitting a spear to Gunther, and looking like there was not gonna be a kick out, which sometimes I do like, and sometimes I don't. Like when there's like, even though you're gonna break it up, still kick out because selling and whatnot. But Kaiser ends up breaking up the 2 count, breaking it up to pin at a 2 count. You know what I mean? Woods ends up flying literally like across the outside of the ring, hitting like a kick to him. Kofi ends up throwing Kaiser into the ring post. Tags what's his name? Vinci. And then Vinci like goes for a power bomb on Jay. Jay reverses it. Vinci hits like a big boot on him, which I was expecting like a super kick for super kick like spot, but it was like no, it was like big boot, then super kick. New Day comes out of nowhere and hits a 1D basically, throws him up. Jay catches him, hits him. Stop Kaiser from entering the ring by kicking him out when he was like on the apron. He kicked him down basically, kicked him out, and Kofi basically just does a flip out the ring, lands on Kaiser. Kaiser's pretty much out of the occasion for the rest of the time. Jay just hits a splash, and 1, 2, 3, they win, and that's like a big win for Jay because he beat Imperium, and he kind of showed up Gunther. And it was a pretty good match. Like, it wasn't. I like it towards the end. Obviously, I said the spots. I'm telling you the spots that I like. Yeah, it was an okay match. I don't feel like. All right, if you don't have this match, what do you? Because I do feel like they exercise every other way to do this feud. They did the New Day and Imperium thing. You don't want to give away Gunther and um Jey Uso, which I don't. The thing I don't like about that is that the title is never being fought for like on a pay per view. Last pay per view he fought for title was like Miz at Survivor Series, and then since then it's been like a lot of Raws. Didn't didn't defend that Royal Rumble. He was in the Royal Rumble. Like they just don't defend the IC title at pay per view a lot, which I don't really like. I don't really understand why they don't, but it's always on like a Raw like right before the pay per view or SmackDown right before the pay per view. I was just like, I don't understand that. Maybe I gotta look into that to understand why they do that. But Andrade cuts his return promo because he did sign with Raw. What feels like 2 weeks ago. It might have. Nah, it was definitely 2 weeks ago. It was after the Royal Rumble for sure. And that was like 3 weeks ago at this point. So he finally cuts his return promo. He basically says he had his first match when he was 13, and he was winning championships since then. Then when he had the opportunity to come to WWE, he came to WWE, and then he became a champion, United States and NXT champion. But that wasn't enough for him. He wanted more, and then to get more, he said he had to leave for 3 years. He's not going to speak about where he been. We're not going to speak about where he been. Then he came back, and now his vision and his path is clear to where he needs to go. What does this mean for him? I really don't know. I really don't know. Who do I see him feuding on Raw? I don't know. It would have made more sense to go on SmackDown to do the LWO thing. Him being with Zelina, that would have made more sense. But on Raw, I don't know. There's definitely some mid carders he could feud with. Like I'm thinking about that IC title stuff. Like it could be something there. He could maybe do something with Alpha Academy. That's a funny thing. Alpha Academy was not on the show this week. That was very interesting. I just remembered that. I forgot about them. But I don't know what he's gonna do. That was basically his promo, real quick. This is a match. I feel like last year we seen a lot of Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed. I think it was a feud at one point. Maybe during the summer. I remember when Bronson Reed came back. That was one of his first people he kind of feuded with, and it wasn't bad, but um, yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of a little interesting at the time, and even now, I don't know how to like think about their matches. I like Bronson Reed a lot, but they're just not. I feel like he doesn't win a lot. Pat McAfee on commentary for some very very strange, odd reason was mentioning how Bronson Reed maybe or maybe not cannot wipe his ass. Didn't understand that from Pat McAfee. Was trying to understand it. Didn't get it. I did not understand it one bit. And they keep reiterating that if Bronson Reed wins, he'll be performing in his home country, Australia. They said that about 3 or 4 times throughout this match. And I was like, I think we got it. I think we got it. And that kind of made me feel like he was going to win at one point. But I'm like, nah, they're saying a little bit too much, actually. Ashley hits a suplex on Bronson Reed like a very, like, it looked like a. Usually when you see, like, a bigger guy getting suplex, it's usually like, a little sloppy. Like, it's not performed that well. But this, it was kind of a good suplex. Got some good extension on it, got some good height on it. I was like, okay, that's a really good suplex. He hits a Death Valley driver, which that's a move I just don't see a lot of people hit, and that's kind of one of my favorite moves. That and the Mikonoshu driver, I'm not gonna lie. Variations of Death Valley driver and Mikonoshu driver, like a burning ham, like those type of things, that's wrestling right there. And Lashley hits like a spine buster, I think Lashley threw him into the ropes. He kind of reversed it with like another Irish whip, and then he kind of like hit Lashley into the ropes, and he ran at Lashley. And Lashley like got some high elevation into like a spine buster. They said it was a spike, but come on, that's a spine buster right there, bro. Let's be real, that's a spine buster. He did some move and he just hit a senton. It wasn't like the brace senton. It was just like, nah, I'm just gonna land on you, and you're just gonna take it. Reed then goes for the tsunami. Uh, Bobby Lashley gets up, throws him off the top rope, hits a spear, and he wins. Bobby Lashley has qualified for Elimination Chamber. I was kind of hoping Karrion Kross and them boys, the final testimony, is that what they're called? I think. Something shit. Whatever. Um I was hoping they would interfere in Bronson Reed with advance that way. But no, they just gave Lashley a clean win. Pretty good match for Lashley. I fuck with Lashley in the Elimination Chamber. Should be fun. Sami Zayn has another interview in the same spot from last week, just sitting in an empty crowd. Don't know why. They could have did this in like a backstage chair to chair. You know, they could have did something like that. But like, nah, we're just gonna do it here because it feels outdoorsy. I don't know why they did that. I don't get the point of these interviews. What is it supposed to feel like? Spontaneous? I don't know. But Jackie Redmond is interviewing him. He says he feels slight embarrassment when he can't accomplish goals he set out he said he was going to do, like beating Drew McIntyre, like qualifying for the Elimination Chamber. He's not unfamiliar with these feelings, which makes it okay, and he's been basically fighting his whole life. With him fighting his whole life, it makes him stronger because it gives him that confidence to push forward. He stood in that very same ring around this time last year and told Cody he has to believe in himself because if he doesn't believe in himself, nobody will. Which is true. I I agree with him. He did do that last year, and yeah, you do have to do that. He reiterates from basically last week that he is a contender. He is a he will be a champion. And it won't be an easy path, but it's a path nonetheless. And then Nakamura interrupts and he cuts a promo that um it was an interesting promo. Interrupts on the Tron, just appear. That I guess that's his thing. I understand if you're in the ring, but this is an interview. You don't have to appear on the Tron like this. And how did he know he was there at that time? I don't know, bro. Like it was a very weird thing, but I like some of the things he said here. I'm not gonna lie, this is just one of the promos where Nakamura has where he is just absolutely he's kind of babbling. And I don't really get the point that he's trying to make with some of these promos. Like I generally do not understand where he's going with some of these promos. I wrote it down, but as I'm reading, I'm like, it doesn't even make sense to say it. But I do like when he cuts promos in Japanese. It does make me feel uh authentic to the situation. And then Cody comes out to cut his promo, which was, perfect time after that weird promo. Let's clean up with some good talk. He was out to say his, usual, what do you want to talk about? He said, we could talk about how I'm fighting Roman at Mania. I would say at the Mania. Cause I have the chamber in my head. Basically, he just comes out and say, we could talk about how I'm fighting Roman at Mania. And then he's saying it's only possible because the fans, pled for it. Which I guess you're right. I still don't know how to feel about that. He doesn't want to be emotional because that'll make him seem as a crybaby. Now, I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on this Cody crybabies things. I'm not gonna lie. I like The Rock. I really do. But it's in situations when The Rock is liked for me. This is not one of those situations because even the same way how when he came back to fight John Cena for 2 straight years, even the first year, I was like, this doesn't need to happen. It doesn't. And even the second year, I hated it more because it's like, once again, this doesn't need to happen for a second time. Nonetheless, for the title. Y'all fighting to see who's better. We don't need this. And then y'all did a whole storyline for a year. That was literally in like, what, 2011, 2012, or 2012, 2013. It's like, bro, none of this shit was needed. And even right now, you are not needed. It's cool when you come back and you do your little thing. Now, if you would just come back fighting Roman when he doesn't have a title, you should not be anywhere near the championship, bro. You could be in the main event. This is like that. That's my whole thing about part timers too. You could be in the main event scene, but bro, stay away from championships. That's when like Goldberg comes back. He came back a few times and got some championships out of it. I'm just like, why are y'all letting this shit happen? It just never made sense to me. I always hated that, and that's why I never liked part time. Even when Brock had it, it was a little bit more acceptable because Brock matches are actually good. That's another thing about being a part timer. Your matches have to be actually good, and you have to be like a pretty good wrestler. Like if we think about any part timer, the best part timers, in my opinion, were the Undertaker, Triple H, Brock, obviously. But these people never needed to have championships. Brock only had it because we're not gonna talk about Brock. Anyway, let's get back to the fact before I really get sidetracked and start ranting on some shit. He shows a clip from Pat McAfee's podcast, and um, this is where I think The Rock is corny because he tries to get his old shit to like be funny today, and as a 20-something-year-old, it's not funny today. I'm not gonna lie to you, it just isn't funny today. He says something about Cody crybabies and they need to stick chicken nuggets in their. I'm just look. I don't. I don't even know where he was going with this. And once I heard that, I'm like, yeah, you're cooked. What are you doing? Please get him the hell out of here. And basically, Cody just says, he spoke about his ancestor and his grandfather, and when he said what he never disrespected them. I guess he was just saying The Rock just felt disrespected, but he was never intending to disrespect him. And Seth Rollins comes up. And basically, Cody doesn't speak for the rest of the promo. And it's a pretty long ass promo from here on out. He'll say he'll hit The Rock back. That's another. I forgot to say that at the end of that. He basically said he didn't mean to. He didn't disrespect any of his ancestors or grandparents or his father. He didn't disrespect anybody in his family. And he said, but you still chose to smack me, and for that, I will hit you back. Which I didn't like it because it screamed out childish a little bit. Like he was a little bit too babyface on that. I didn't like it. He needs to be a little bit more assertive, in my opinion, to like really get behind that. But Seth Rollins ended up coming out. Cody ends up thanking him for his support at the press conference for having his back and even though they had their troubles, respectfully just like sticking up for him, which makes me feel, and I hope this doesn't happen. I feel like at some point Seth is gonna turn on him. I don't know why he would do that, but I just feel like it's going to happen at like Elimination Chamber or something during the match, maybe because that match is coming. Seth tells Cody that he understands why he picked Roman over himself. He understands that he needs to finish the story because Cody is the only one at this point who can finish it. Because if he doesn't beat him at this WrestleMania here, who knows when anybody will get another chance at him? If Roman is to win this Mania, which is why Roman has to lose this title at Mania. I'm gonna get into that in a minute, but he basically just says that he says that he has to lose it because if he does not lose it, he's going to work less, defend it less, and at that point there would be no more contenders. Because if you think about it, every main eventer in this company he has beaten already, and at this point we're grabbing mid carders for him to face. Like you gotta think about it. He faced LA Knight, who is a fan favorite, but at the end of the day, he is a high level mid carder because he's a fan favorite. He faced Logan Paul, who is he never fought for a championship up to that point. He's United States champion, but let's be honest, mid carder. Jay Uso, let's tag team guy, mid carder. He's obviously like something more, and he's getting up to that high level mid card now, and like he's fighting mid. Like a lot of these people he's bringing up as mid carders. Like fought Brock, Cena. These are main event part timers. Um, but it's like you're bringing up mid carders at this point. There's no main event level talent anymore. that he is going to like get to face, because and they're not gonna pick him to face people that are are also good. Like they're not gonna pick him to face Gunther, because Gunther would lose that, and that would make Gunther look bad. Like honestly, like shit like that. So it's like Seth has a complete point of where like, yo, he's gonna hold this shit forever if you don't beat him. So you have to finish his story for everybody. He basically said that. He basically said for you, your father, everybody in the back, everybody watching, everybody in this arena. Basically just said that like you gotta do this for everybody. He asked him what's the plan, because you can't go into Mania as the same way last time, because you seen what happened. At that time, the Bloodline was in full effect with both Usos, Heyman, Solo, and that was a Dax against him. Only help he really had was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and they kind of even it out. But they didn't account for Solo Sikoa at that point, and that's what kind of messed him up. And at this point, he'll be going to it alone. Like from this point, let's just say Mania is next week. This that would he would be running into the same thing. So Seth basically asks, "What's your plan?" Because you've seen how close you got and what happened at the end. Bloodline shenanigans. I think I talked about Bloodline shenanigans. I forgot what I said about Bloodline shenanigans last week, but yeah, Bloodline shenanigans. He basically said that like you're gonna run into that. So what's your plan? He was asking that, but he didn't. Obviously, Cody didn't say nothing. And he said it's not only the Bloodline now; it's The Rock, and he's the most influential man in entertainment, which is high praise from a guy that makes shit movies, though. But he does keep getting movie roles, so I guess. He says he's sick and tired. Seth is saying this, by the way. He says he's sick and tired of people like Roman and Rock using their power to get what they want, and he can't stand for it no more. He said he is not going to let Cody go into this battle alone. He said when it comes to fighting Rock and Roman, there is only one man that's right for the job to do this, and he said that's basically him. He did say something about being his shield, which let's not go that far. I don't know why he said that. I didn't like that line about the shield, but the shield. I kind of understand why he kind of said it now, but yeah, I didn't really like that line too much. And that was basically the end of the promo. Seth basically telling him, "I got your back in this." So, uh, Friday Night SmackDown. Cody Rhodes is not like scheduled to be there. Not scheduled. I'm not saying scheduled. He's not announced to be there. He for sure could show up, but I think Friday Night SmackDown is gonna be interesting. Just see in what capacity. Cause I feel like Friday Night SmackDown is gonna be like a Rock and Roman like targeting Triple H. Like it's gonna be that. They're gonna probably gonna call out Triple H or something like that. That's how I see it personally. But anyways, moving on. Nudie and Jay Uso with Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly is such a good name, and that's great. She basically just announces that the match is official. Jey Uso versus Gunther for the IC title is happening in next week. It's happening next week. I don't know. Just you can't wait another week for the pay per view. I don't know. Liv Morgan versus Zoe Starks, Chamber qualifier is the next match, and there was a promo cut. Not a promo. It was basically both women saying why they, what making a chamber means for them. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like the I didn't like the I didn't like the promos because it was basically Liv. I'm gonna be honest, like I said last week, like Liv is not a main event level star, and she's like, I'm on revenge to get back at Rhea, and it's like, don't though. I think she was the right person, is the right person to like go in chamber, but um, yeah, no. She said she was on top of the world. That she was a Money in the Bank winner, which good for you. SmackDown Women's Champion, which was a shit run. I think you had like one good match against Ronda, and that's all I can remember. And she was a tag team champion, which was that's where you should be. Stay a tag team champion. You're good at that. You're really good at being a tag team champion. You should stay there. But she's like, I'm on revenge for Rhea. It's like nobody cares. Anyways, so we hit a Death Valley driver. So that's a second Death Valley driver. But she's on a apron, which made it look a little bit cool. I was like, oh, this is nice. Y'all are bringing Death Valley drivers back. Real wrestling is back. Liv hits a cold breaker off the second rope for a 2 count. Thought that was a pretty cool match. I'm gonna be honest with you. Liv moveset is pretty ass. It's just is not that good. Zoe goes for some type of flip. It was they said like it. I think Michael Cole said it was like a corkscrew something. She missed it. Liv hits a jumping. I don't know. It was like a single leg code breaker. That's literally how I see it. A single leg code breaker, and then she's Oblivion for the win. This was the. It wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. This match was just like a little bit out of whack. Just a little bit out of whack. I don't know what it is. It was like they were doing moves for sure, but the moves didn't feel impacty. And I think it's Liv selling. I think I don't like Liv selling. It's certain people selling I don't like. Shayna Baszler is one of them. I like when she delivers the moves, but sometimes she it's times I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes she just sell good, but um yeah, most time Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Shotzi at times, and certain Charlotte Flair matches. Be honest with you. Hate me for that, but just certain ones. Anyways, next. He tells R-Truth that he's not part of Judgment Day. Everything that has happened to him was real. Like, none of these things were initiations or anything. In fact, this next match is going to be a execution, which I thought was a good line. But when he said it and he said execution, I didn't understand what that meant. I was like, why did he say that? Then I realized he said execution. I was like, oh, they're going to kill R-Truth. I didn't understand that at first. JD versus R-Truth, like I said, this match happens in a variation every single week, even if one of them aren't in the match. It could be two different people. It could be Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz. It's still gonna be JD versus R-Truth, which is like, bro, this has been going on for too long, and it needs to end. This match was a nothing match. Truth, before the match started, he tried to call the Miz to get help. Miz is in LA. Miz is not here. He tried to call him. They tried to do a little funny thing with R-Truth. Didn't laugh. I'll be honest with you. Some of his things are funny. Like, I will get to a moment that was funny. But no, that just was like whatever. Anyways, match starts. R-Truth basically just is John Cena, not in a good way. Like he's winning. He's just doing John Cena moves. He does the shoulder tackle, the two shoulder tackles, the 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 little I don't even know what slam that's called. And then he does the five knuckle shuffle. He hit the attitude adjustment pretty early in the match. Didn't do anything. That was so funny to me. It just didn't affect the person. And then JD just hits Devil Inside Me, which I never seen this move in real life. I only seen it in like games like 2K. Never seen it hit in real life, but looks just like how it looks in 2K. Pretty cool. He wins. Judgment Day jumps him, and then DIY comes out. Why is there always someone saving this man? Just let him get jumped. Just let this feud end. But there's always someone reviving this feud. So next week is gonna be DIY and R-Truth versus Judgment Day again. I think they said 8 minutes, so it might be DIY R-Truth and The Miz versus Judgment Day. I think that's what it is. Might have got that wrong. But Sammy and Cody is backstage. Cody, I mean, basically thanks Sammy for having his back last week when he saved him when he was getting jumped from Drew and Shinsuke. And he was basically reminding him that, hey, we believe in you, meaning him and the fans believe in him. Which felt like, I feel like Sammy took it away. I feel like Sammy didn't really appreciate that. Like, they did hug though, but I don't know. And now it's time for a Becky Lynch promo. Boy, did Becky say a lot of things. It just was a long promo to me, bro. This business calls her to miss plenty of things: weddings, birthdays, her own father's funeral, and her this business has caused her to have difficult conversations with her 3-year-old daughter. She has to explain why she comes home with a busted face. She has to explain why she can't pick up her daughter because she has a separated shoulder. Um, and she has to explain why her father wants to fight Maui, which I thought was pretty funny. Pretty damn funny. She said she's obsessed with getting her title back that she hasn't held for 2 years now, which, wow. It has been 2 years since that. That's pretty damn crazy. She said her being in Elimination Chamber is a direct path to get to WrestleMania to fight for that title. And she is absolutely right. That is a direct path for her to, get there and be able to fight for that title again. She somehow ends up with like a drink and basically holds a toast and then tells Rhea to enjoy her last few weeks with her title, which pretty fucking cool that she did that. I was like, oh, that's pretty. We always seen that. Then Nia Jax comes out and tells Becky Lynch that she respects her and that she respects the mother that she is. She respects that fire. Something about her respecting her, and then that she has like nothing. Same way, nothing's gonna stop her from. That same way that nothing's stopping Becky from being there for her daughters. The same way nothing's gonna stop her, Nia, beating Rhea at Elimination Chamber. Uh, Pretty good. I don't know, cause it was like she was like trying to fake cry and then that, and then Rhea comes out and then they brawl a little bit, and then they go into the corner. No, Nia pushes Rhea into Becky kind of. Um, they don't hit. Rhea kind of like backs up slowly, and then Nia goes in and then plummels them in the corner. A drink kind of explodes. I forgot Becky was holding a drink. I remember that it just kind of like splattered everywhere. Like, oh wow. And then Nia gets Rhea in like a Samoan drop position. Rhea wiggles out. Nia like hits her. Every time I see Nia hit someone, or every time I see Nia do any move, I'm like, that was a legit move. She hurt that woman, and it did look like it a little bit. She did that. Becky drop kicks Nia. She falls out the ring. Rhea and Becky come face to face, and then Rhea runs and kicks Nia off the apron, giving her a big boot. And she basically yells at her, "You're gonna have to kill me," which I thought was a hard line, a very hard line. So, like I said, this was a long promo. A lot of like not really nothing, but it was just long, and it didn't really get to where it had to go until the end of the match. Drew is backstage with Jackie Redmond again. Jackie Redmond doing a lot of interviews today. This is like her third, fourth interview today. She's everywhere. Um, she basically announces that Drew will be facing Cody Rhodes next week, and Drew, this character that Drew's doing is pretty. I like this character a lot. And it's a good kind of dude. It's not like a illusion delusion. It's like he's making good points, but you could see through it. Yeah, Cody could basically say whatever he wants about him making his decision of choosing Roman, but he knows he motivated him to make that choice. Which, once again, I just like that. That's a good mindset to have. He said Seth is actually the selfish one because even though he knew how bad Cody wanted to finish his story, he still was advocating to uh for Cody to fight him. And he said people look at him as a bad guy, but he's not the bad guy. He's doing things the right way, the Drew way. He's he had to qualify Elimination Chamber. He's gonna have to win Elimination Chamber, and then he will get his title shot. He's not taking no shortcuts. There's two things Cody should do. No, he said there's two things Cody should stay away from: his prayers and fighting him. Because if he's in either of those things, he won't make it to WrestleMania. And I like the first one because the prayers is like a basic callback to that little CM Punk thing, that CM Punk situation where he's like, "I prayed for this," which is a wonderful meme. And then this is the R-Truth segment. After they, I don't know why they placed it right here. Uh, like literally four things happen, and they like, oh yeah, let's go back to the R-Truth thing. R-Truth is basically thanking DIY for saving him, and DIY basically said, "Oh, the the Miz called us and told us to help you," which was good storyline because they all are having a match next week, and he basically calls him DX. And he said, "I got two words for you, thank you," which I thought was funny. I thought that segment was funny. It was actually pretty funny. I'm thinking from DX, kinda. Because if you look at Tommaso Ciampa, he kind of does look like Triple H in just a base level bald guy beard. Pretty, pretty Triple H bald guy beard. Just saying. Anyways, moving on. Next match is LA Knight versus Ivar, which not a bad match. A lot of high spots though, which I didn't understand why it was so many high spots. Not high spots, but big spots. I'll label them as big spots. First big spot I seen is they had something on the outside. I guess Valhalla distracted LA Knight or did something, and then somehow LA Knight is in like the corner of the barricade, and then this is a spot that they usually don't ever show, like they don't ever do. He hit a crossbody into the corner, which I thought was I love moves like that. I was like, that's kind of like the solo Sokoa like hip attack in the corner. Like they don't ever let him do those moves to the barricade at least, but they let him do it for sure right there, which I did. I liked a lot. I liked a lot. Knight did his superplex off the top rope, which it always scares me because Knight he just snaps into that superplex like really hard, snaps it hard, and I'm just like, damn, bro, that's pretty fucking scary. I've already had a tiger bomb, which I love that. I love that he hit that fucking tiger bomb. That shit was so fucking cool, bro. Holy shit, I was so hyped for that. Hits a power slam. Valhalla distracts him. Ivar tries to run to Knight, almost knocks Valhalla off the apron. Knight goes for a BFT. Ivar reverses it, hits a high spinning cross kick. I don't know what that kick is called, but the Ivar kick. He hits that. He goes for a moonsault, which I think it's called a dude salt. He goes for a moonsault, let's just say. Misses. Knight hits the BFT. Knight qualifies for almost said Money in the Bank. I might have said Money in the Bank somewhere in this review, but he hits the BFT. He qualifies. Pretty standard. And then there was a very strange woman segment. Very strange. It started off with basically it started off with the way and Chelsea Green and Adam Pearce, and then you add two more women, and it's um, Zoe Starks and what's this lady's name? Um, Shayna Baszler, and basically it's going to be a some sorts of a um, last chance battle royal for I guess the rest of the women who are not technically in the match. So whatever. I didn't see the point of this. I guess you need some woman representation on the show. Because outside of that, what was it like? One other women's match and another women's segment. Anyways, main event time. Uh, Sami Zayn versus Nakamura. Before the match, you see Sami making his way through the hallway. Drew runs into him, and Drew told him to keep my name out your mouth and keep your nose out of my business. Sami kind of stays shut and says, "You're in my way." And then Drew basically goes out the way, and Sami hesitantly walks past him. All right. Anyways, to the match. Sami hits a Michinoku driver, which I said one. These like I'm seeing a lot of moves. That's my favorite. That Valley driver, Michinoku driver. I love variations of those moves. Those are some of my favorite moves of all time. Sami clotheslines Nakamura out the ring and then hits a dive. Look like he landed a little awkwardly, like on his arm or something, but didn't seem like it really bothered him for the rest of the match. Nakamura hits a spinning kick, then goes for King Shasha, and then Sami reverses it and then hits a Blue Thunder Bomb. Kick out at 2. Sami goes for that little ring post thing he used to do, and then Nakamura hits like a spinning kick or some type of kick to the head to reverse it. He he puts him back in the ring, and then he hits like what looked like a second rope King Shasha, but they just said knee to the head. He does that twice for both are kickouts at 2, which kind of sucked. He just kept trying to do it. Sami hits the exploder in the corner. Drew comes out to distract Sami. Nakamura hits the back of his knee. It kind of buckles. Sami's on both knees. Nakamura hits a King Shasha to the back of Sami's head. Pins him 1, 2, 3. So Sami loses again for the third straight week, I believe. He lost to Drew when he came back. He lost to Randy, and he lost to Nakamura again. Sami's on quite a losing streak. He's on the downhill. And I think this is where a heel turn is going to come in because, yeah, it's, it's not looking good for Sami. But like I said, that's what Sami needs to do. He needs to turn heel. And they basically jump Sami after the match, and then Cody comes out. He hits a Cody cutter on Drew. He um, hits a crossroads on Nakamura. And he stands tall as the show goes off the air at, you know, Cody in the ring yelling at Drew. Drew at the ramp, yelling at Cody. That was a show, and I think it was a pretty decent show. It didn't really have no bad moments, even though I kind of shit on that Liv Morgan and Zoe Starks match. But it wasn't a horrible show. It was a very solid show, a very watchable show, I would say. Really watchable. Anyways, that is going to do it for this review. I will see you guys on Saturday for a Friday Night SmackDown review. But follow my socials. They should be in the description. If they're not, they'll be in the next video. But yeah, sub, like, comment what you think about this week's Raw. Let me know. See you guys in the next video. Peace.